the new income tax bill. Remember, it was brought in, tabled in the last session of Parliament. It's being sent to a joint select committee of Parliament. But typically, the devil could well lie in the detail, because now, as the bill is being read, the bill will grant the government the authority to allow tax authorities to access all your digital space. This includes your email, your social media accounts, and your online financial platforms. The new income tax bill enables tax officers to enter your digital spaces to obtain information if there is any suspicion of concealed income or assets. The question is, how valid are the fears that this is a huge violation of privacy and is conferring draconian powers on income tax officials, or is it the formalization of what already happens in income tax searches? Joining me now is, before that, just listen in to Supriya Srinath and C.T. Ravi, how this issue is becoming political.
This is nothing but the government trying to enter into our lives surreptitiously. This is nothing but the government trying to take control through the backdoor entry. This is nothing but the government trying to make India a surveillance state. And I'm not fine with it, because we've already seen how driven by vendetta politics this particular government is, the Modi government is. They weaponize ED, CBI and income tax, not just against their political opponents, to crush activists or students, but anybody who has a difference of opinion. So I'm not fine with the tax official having access to emails and social media and bank accounts and trading accounts, because this is going to lead to unnecessary harassment and intimidation.
तकलीफ किसको? चोरी करने वालों को। कौन इंक्वायरी कर सकता है? अपना ही ऑफिसर। पाकिस्तानी लोग यहाँ आकर के, ऐसे लोग यहाँ आकर के जांच नहीं करेगा, केवल अपना ही ऑफिसर्स करेगा।
Let me go straight across to Mukesh Bhutani, one of the country's leading legal minds when it comes to tax matters, a former chartered accountant as well. He is a chartered accountant, managing partner, BMR Legal. Mukesh, what's your sense? Are the fears exaggerated when it is suggested that this new bill confers draconian powers or sweeping powers on income tax officials during searches to search all your digital, whatever digital space you have? You're on mute. You're on mute, Mukesh.
Well, first,
can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, I can.
Go ahead.
Well, let's try and understand what the bill is talking about. Currently, as per the extant law, the income tax authorities have wide powers to get into your IT systems, but those powers are exercised in an outlier situation. For example, if you have a survey, what we call it 133A, or you have a search operations under 132. Now, this bill seems to have gone ahead of that, and it does give a unfettered power to the tax administration to look into all the specified transactions, including the tax filings, so on and so forth. Now, it clearly raises issues which go beyond the tax regulation, one on privacy, and second on fundamental rights, wherein privacy is protected, and we have a catena of judgments by the Supreme Court on this. Now, we also should remember that in 2003, when the Right to Information Act was enacted, a similar issue came up before the Bombay High Court, wherein the Bombay High Court, in no uncertain terms, laid down that the information with regard to tax returns and tax assessments are privy to the individual taxpayer, and they cannot be disclosed by the tax authorities. So to that extent, this particular provision in the bill is overriding that judgment, number one. Number two, I have no doubt in my mind that the Select Committee of the Parliament, which is looking into this issue, is concerned about this particular provision, which tends to impact the taxpayer rights. And I just wanted to make one small point on the taxpayer rights. So in 2020, India was one of those few countries that went ahead and legislated. It enshrined a taxpayer charter. And one of the conditions of the taxpayer charter was privacy of taxpayers. So that now this particular provision in the bill seems to create a friction with the law as it exists today.
But what I want to understand, Mukesh, as you said already, even before the income tax bill, if the tax authorities so chose, they could get permission to explore all your digital devices. Does this now effectively formalize what already existed? You know, the government is saying, is trying to suggest that there is nothing different in what we've done in the IT bill to what existed previously. We are only formalizing existing practices. Is that right? Or is the government actually now violating the right to privacy?
No, the government is right to that extent. So, for example, if today under the extent law there is a search and seizure proceeding or there is a survey on the business premises of a taxpayer, the government does have the right, even under the law today, to get into your computer system. But I think that the provision of the bill goes slightly beyond that. Even in situations of non-survey or non-search, you could have that situation. Having said that, Rajdeep, let's not forget the fact that today, if you have investment accounts, the government has the right to see it because you need to maintain DMAT, which is registered with the SEBI and with a DMAT service provider. All of that information is visible to the government. So to that extent, it's going a little beyond that.
Right, that's the worry. And once you give such sweeping powers, discretionary powers to tax officers, then as some critics would suggest, it can even lead to tax terror. Mukesh Bhutani, for trying to simplify what this latest provision is and why it is causing so much concern, I appreciate you joining me.